All right, everybody, how we doing? I was trying to send the YouTube link there, but for some reason it's not popping up for me. Find it here in a second. We're gonna do this old school. All right. 2 seconds here, we'll get started. Looks like TikTok's blowing up pretty well today, about 500 in the room there. We're going to be going over crypto and entire crypto market, basically. So Bitcoin, bunch of altcoins. I got Magic Internet Money on here with me today. So I'm going to scroll it over. We'll take a look at his screen, and then we'll kind of go back and forth, take some requests if you have any, but we're going to cover a slew of things. We got XRP, Luna, Ethereum, ApeCoin. We're going to do a little bit of everything. So it's 2 seconds here and we'll get started up. Mark, how you doing, buddy? T-Bone, what ticker am I on? big old Bitcoin right here. All right. Just post this link here and we'll get cooking. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. YouTube video. All right. Let's see here. Why will some chart updates have no NPOCs and others will? Well, this just depends on which ones are relevant at the time. And for me right now, these are the only two that I'm looking at specifically at this second. And then as we kind of climb towards others or head towards others, we'll update that. I just try to keep it as simple as possible too for these public updates. No sense in muddying up the charts. Am I right?
I agree. I concur.
All right, perfect. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. So I got the links all sent off. I just got to put it on Twitter. So I'll do that really quickly. We'll scroll it over here.
I'm actually going to join the live so I can actually chat in the chat.
I like it. So waiting on, let's see here. I guess New York just opened up a couple minutes ago, so we'll see how things kind of go with that. Like I said, we got Magic Internet Money on the horn today as well. Deep diving into Old Biddy.
Yeah, we'll get that going here in just a second. There's the YouTube link. Yeah, I'll probably need to mute this thing. Nope, it's already muted. It knows what I like. All right. Isaac Bonner. Is it Bonner or Boner Isaac? Tell me in the chat. He's in the group, so I'll give him plenty of stuff in there. All right, let me get my screen shared here. We'll start out with old Bitcoin. Might as well. Is that guy that said we wouldn't go down this low in the chat? Remember that guy? He said it would never come down underneath the 32,903 low. It's not going to 32K. Is he around?
Just he might be in here today.
just asking for nah, no hate or anything. Just I think it's funny when people say things like that. Anyone who gets very deterministic about the chart, like they know something. OC's finally so confused that at what he should be buying. Hobby box, maybe that's the guy. I don't know. Yeah, so Bitcoin, right? This is going to be a fairly easy update because it's just stuff that we were already expecting, right? So we had our live stream last night. We talked about it, where we think we're going, or where we're most likely to go. And I do think that this is still a very likely bounce territory. You had a 36K, which was, if you guys follow my public updates, I don't know if you guys, everyone in here is probably in the group, so at least right now. But if you're not, then my public updates, I told you that, if we lose 37.7, we are going to 36,270 and 35,027. And we went there over the weekend, which you never like to see when you're talking about putting in a low, which we've already taken those. So it's already, traditional markets are open. We've already made a new low, things like that. So that's an irrelevant conversation. But right here, you have to be looking at this going, man, coming in on the weekend, you can gap down. So it does give you a very interesting play. Now, this low right here, if you guys go back to all those videos, we were talking about these levels being the most important to hold. And the reason why was, if you just look at it, trading views on one this morning. I didn't restart this morning. I left my computer on all night too. You can see we've ran through this level many times, and it was support. Now it's no longer support. What happens when you break it? Well, we're probably heading down to 31,773 to 31,200. That's a merged TPO value area low right here, right? So you can see that's where we're getting that. I'm getting that from all the data over on this platform here. So just very, very likely that's where we end up. From there, I am looking for something like this actually to be taking place. And I believe it's here. I would be looking for this. So I would be looking for this to play out, looking for this EQ somewhere in this region between now and likely the 14th, I guess, give or take, a few days. You don't want to have to absolutely try to, get it to the day, but this has been the distribution of our prior move up, right? So this was the move up for anyone that doesn't know. This was your move. Now we've played distribution by running that back, and you can see that it caught our dump here on the 4th. Didn't quite catch your high here, but fairly close on the 23rd of December before making this 52K top. There's your breakdown to 32K. There is the next exact high, the next exact dump, and the next exact high when we completed our Gartley, right? So now we are working off of where's our one-to-one for distribution on that move inside of this overall range. Comes in May. Does that mean that price is done going down? Not necessarily, but we should be paying attention to see if we're going to get a pivot in the market, because that's when pivots in the market are coming in. So, I do stand by that. Over the next, probably week or so, we should be looking at price to see if we're going to get some kind of, it could just be a relief rally. It doesn't have to be a reversal. It could just be a bounce. And, as a trading community, we like to trade the bounces. So you can't be getting too aggressive with sells down in this region. Now, one thing to note is, on that topic, when would there be a good time to start really looking for doomsday targets, like a lot of people are on about already? There's a lot of people calling for like 14K. I saw some guy that's dead ass serious that we're going to 6K or 7K, which, we're sitting at $33,000 right now, guys. That's pretty far out there. This is where things become bad. You lose it. You can see where demand's coming in. You lose that demand zone, you start closing below it. And yeah, this little box right here is going to be pretty important. Lots of people are saying things like we're going to 28K. Very popular target. It's one that we actually talked about before almost anyone, just because, just how it works. But yeah, 28,962 is there. But this box is still going to be the most important area on the chart. Even though this area is there, doesn't matter, because the moment you start flipping this into resistance, right? So that's why we're still sat, or at least I'm still sat short, is, well, you flip this into the resistance, and then these targets down here do become an actual real conversation. And that is where we can then look for this gap right here. Okay, so you have a gap on the CME chart, boom, fill it out. And yeah, that's how you're going to potentially, or more probably, go fill that. From there, you could just look all the way down. Everybody says, what's the lowest I think price could go? I think that it could go as low as like 20,688 down to about 19,300, give or take. If you wanted to know how low I think it could go, do I think it's going there for sure? No, I don't think anyone can say that. No one can truly say that. So we just have the levels on the chart, so that way, if the trade opportunity arises in that region, we know to be paying attention. We have our alerts set, things like that. So, but it does, offer up a good trade. Until then, I'm more focused on this area of the chart than anything. And I think that other people should be too, because this is going to be the area that you should be wanting to trade from, in my opinion. You've taken this low already. So it is one of those things where now we just see what we get. This is kind of I wouldn't say it's no man's land by any means, but it is one of those, unless you're day trading like a local range, like you're looking to backfill some, some session data here, which what we're doing right now. Then yeah, you're probably looking for more macro areas to involve yourself in. At least I would hope you are. And it's getting rejected at the VWAP here. So, that is never a good thing for price to just be getting rejected at the VWAP. Yeah, little rejection. But we'll see. We'll refresh here. Well, you've got good OI coming in here. It looks like you have some sells coming in as well. Some buying imbalances at the top. So we'll see what you get. You're looking right here. You can see where support already is. You lose that area, these guys are all pretty much screwed at that point. You could run it back to the range low. So I'm not going to take a look at too much on this. And let's see here. Yeah, not much. I'm not too interested in this. Yeah, this would be a good short more than anything, but it'd just be for a scalp, but it's already played out. You'd have to be waiting for it here between the VWAP and the London in POC. So that would have been a nice play if you were ready for a few $100 scalp for the day. Otherwise, again, you're waiting for lower, or you're waiting to see strength. Strength for me, realistically, if you guys wanted to know when do we actually have strength for this? Obviously, you have the weekly open at 34,015, but I mean, realistically, this little area of the chart, I know we had 36,270 on our chart. 35,027 would be something to be noted, but realistically, you're still looking at that region of the chart, 36,270 right here, right? So you could box this area off and say, if we're living below this, it's going to be, this is going to be your resistance. And even if you get above that, you had the 6M2, I believe, right here. No, where's it at? My TPO value area low. That's 38. I think it is this one. Yeah, 37,300 was a big level for us. You can see the perfect back test here. Okay, so it front ran the level here on the weekend, so we knew that this low was likely to be taken out eventually. So we were either going to get the low taken initially and get the trade up, or you got what we got right here, which is a wonderful move outside of the prior session range. And then basically you saw absorption at the highs off of a key level into resistance, and you knew to trade it all the way down. And the context said that you should have been hanging on to that just based on the levels we'd given up. So gave you these targets down to here. And so I'm still holding that position. It did hit a take profit at the last take profit was, oh man, it's in the chat actually. I've got one more that it hasn't hit yet. Still, I'm waiting on that one to come in. So let's see. Yeah, right here. It was 33,722. That's right. The NPOC. If I delete the levels on my charts, guys, it's one of those things where I just stop thinking about them. I'm going to front run this box for my next take profit right here, like the NPOC just above where we're looking to for the next take profit. And I'll just let the position ride as long as it's going to make me money. So yeah, that's Bitcoin in a nutshell for today is, realistically, until you're actually living above this region of the chart again, really not a good look. There's a lot of pressure to the downside at that point. There's no strength just coming in at all. So if you're not a day trader, I guess if you have a DCA plan already and you were planning to buy this level no matter what, do your thing. I don't hate on anyone that does that, but I just think that I don't know. I don't blindly buy a lot of coins, so it's just not something that's a good idea in my opinion in any market, just to blindly buy an asset. So let's see if there's any questions before I move on to some altcoins here. Yeah, Isaac, we'll definitely give that out. Man, this guy over, were you in like Ireland? Is that right? Man, you got quite the sense of humor on you. Let's look at a few alts real quick. We will go through some pretty easy ones, right? So ApeCoin, that video is coming, but I'm waiting for the analysis to continue to play out. So this is the box that was given right here. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this stuff. It's just not necessary on the chart. And this was your area of interest if we were to be looking at it. Now, if you've seen any of the other analysis that I've done realistically, it doesn't mean it's a buy. And that was what we said. This isn't an automatic buy, just like you'll hear me say all the time. What this is an area to look for basing action and buy strength. You're not really trying to catch a knife here unless you just truly love ApeCoin because you like the NFT project or whatever it may be. You're just like in love with it and you think that it's got utility in the future. You're just happy as can be. Yeah, sure, go ahead. You got a good discount on your hands. But I realistically, if I wanted to trade this, I would wait a little bit here. Or if I was watching the order flow on it and it was good for a bounce, maybe take it. But otherwise, I would wait for basing action. Or I would just wait to take this low and then reclaim some levels, right? Like that would be my ideal scenario. Come down here and take this guy and up you go. But if you don't reclaim the level at 962 and then $10.59 here, you have to understand that you've now taken your structural low and all these people that bought up here are no longer in profit. They're just fuel. And this can do its thing. I mean, it can go low, guys. It'd be in price discovery to the downside. So for me, that's why I'm cautious with coins like this because everybody says, well, it's $10. It can't go any lower. I mean, yeah, it can, guys. It can go. I mean, this thing could go to zero. We don't know. I don't know anything about this. I've heard some people saying it's a scam even, but they say that about everything now. So I mean, everything's a scam when the market's going down. That's just how people feel. So with ApeCoin, I am waiting. I actually do want to trade this one and keep up with it. So if you guys are interested in ApeCoin at all or ApeCoin analysis in the future, I am going to set alerts. I may trade it, I may not, but I will at least treat it like I'm going to trade it and set the alerts, do the analysis. It is on Bybit though, which so you guys may catch me trading it with like a small account, a few $1,000s at a time, and just tinkering with it. So that would be a fun one maybe for a series for you guys. We might do some ApeCoin trading in the future just because I don't trade a lot of altcoins, at least day trade wise. Mina protocol is one I just covered as well for anyone that's interested in Mina. I've said that this is support. Obviously, I'm really not interested in Mina until I would like to come again, much like ApeCoin, back to the lows here and see our reaction if we take these lows. I would like to see levels reclaimed before getting interested. If I was really looking at this, like this can go much lower. There's a video on it in the group, by the way, for anyone that is wondering underneath my updates section. I did it for Isaac, and Kim had requested it as well. I think they were both on about it. It is on the 30th of April. So there is a Mina protocol in here. It says Mina for Isaac. It's an unlisted video on my YouTube channel, so it will be something for the members only there. But if you guys are watching, that is available. It's about 15 minutes long. I just build out the chart and tell you guys how I would trade this if I was going to be looking at it. So just so you guys know that is there. I didn't make like an official announcement or anything. I just did the video for you guys. We crashed on TikTok. Isaac, yeah, he's got the hearts there. XRP, this is my love, XRP. You guys know that I've been harping on XRP for quite some time and that this is not a good looking chart. Well, and now you kind of see why. Can it reverse from here? I mean, it needs to, because the longer you're living below 58.123 cents, if you guys recall, those were the levels given, then the longer this is going to be a problem. If you guys recall, we had 58.123 to 62.154. This was where those levels were given. This was the bounce at 62.158. So we were off by, 0.00004 tenths or fractions of a penny on this bounce, which was really nice. Straight into, at the time, it was actually just resistance from a TPO value area low from a prior session that we'd put in there about 88 cents. And so that panned out really well for a rejection point, and down it's come, and now it's giving us support up. So if we lose that support, realistically, you are entering back into old ranges, and that is not bullish. Let's just put it that way. It's not bullish. You do have a macro channel here, right, that I've been telling you guys about since last July. And that if this doesn't resolve and get back above, what were we looking for? I think $1.35. This went to about $1.41. That you were probably going to be looking back down to that 86 cent region, I think is what we said. And 86 cents is our rejection point right here, if you recall. So that is now pushing the price down. I heard someone call this a triple bottom. I don't know that I would make that argument. I would make more of an argument for a descending triangle, which I know I'm not a pattern trader, and I emphasize don't pattern trade. This one's pretty big and pretty clean. This is a weekly chart. So this is taken from April of 2021 to now to fill out. And we are expecting XRP to be resolving its range here in the month of May. Like this is resolution is next week, according to this. So maybe it front runs me a little bit, but we were looking for middle of May for this to start kicking off and having some fireworks. And that doesn't mean fireworks have to go to the upside. They can go to the downside, as you guys are fully aware if you're following crypto at all in the last few months. So it just puts XRP back down. Hopium is coming down, getting a fake out, and moving up from there. That's your hopium. Is maybe your hopium is doing something like this, right? Where you put in a channel, so to speak, and we'll extend that to the right. And you come down, you get a bounce here, and then up you go, and you front run all these people that are looking for lower prices. But that is, if you're an XRP guy and you were buying up here, you just have to understand that more than likely, unless this little box of support right here around 62 cents is reclaimed, and this is all big fake out and Bitcoin and the market's reversed from here, you're probably heading back down for another 50% correction off of where we're at now, let alone if you bought up in this region and you've been hodling, listening to other influencers telling you that XRP is going to change the world, things like that, and that the SEC lawsuit's going to get resolved soon. These guys don't know these things, man. They're trading news, and I'm going to be upfront with you. The charts don't lie. Data does not lie. What lies are news and people that feed you information based on opinion. So careful with what you're doing in this space. And that's not to call anyone out or be rude. It's just those are the facts that I'm just going to lay it on you. Order flow doesn't lie. Charts don't lie. People do. News stations do. Those are the people that can manipulate you, not the price. So just be careful with what you're doing. I would highly recommend just sticking to technical analysis, to be honest with you guys. The TA has been down. So it had its opportunity right here. We even talked about it. If it can get above these levels around $1, this is one heck of a move up that you got coming. And those are the levels we'll be looking for, et cetera, et cetera. You didn't get that though. When you got up here, what did you get? A bearish rejection. There are guys that traded it, shorted it. There are guys that long down here, sold up here. Now we're just waiting to see if it's worth getting in down lower, because I'm not interested in XRP until it's much, much lower, to be honest with you. It's just such a coin that has really big downside inside of this range. And that's not to be doom and gloom on XRP, because I will show you that on XRP, it's doing something very, very similar to what Bitcoin did when it put in its macro range. So like this is something that was covered back in July again. I'm going to have to get rid of this fib time. I don't know what it is about running. Well, I'm running like multiple softwares, so I know what it is. But it makes the trading view just absolutely lag. Let's see here. There we go. So this is Bitcoin when it hit 20K, if you guys recall, right? What did Bitcoin do specifically? 20K all-time high, massive range low, back up to resistance, back to the range low, resolution, right? Slightly higher low here. This was actually just a point of control. So again, this is something, you guys would learn about, but this was a really nice POC that it came down to, old range, right? So that's all we were doing, is we were just back testing into an area of inefficiency, because markets are efficient. And now we've come to here. What does the XRP chart look like, right? Let's clean this up a little bit so that it's not as messy. Sorry about that. You can get rid of some of these levels. And we'll turn this on, and I won't eat up too much more time, but you can see, again, what's XRP look like? All-time high, range low support, back to where? Range high, okay? Now you're back to the EQ. You are putting in bearish market structure. If lost, you guys have to be prepared for this. And we talk about this, that if it goes back, and I said 29 cents back in July, just so you guys know, 29 cents was the level that I gave. If it goes all the way to 29 cents, which is about right here, just a back test of this structure, it's pretty low. There's a lot of people that are going to be upset when that happens, okay? So keep that in mind. And let's see. Is this why I gave 20? Oh, no, it says 18 cents, but that's also Bitstamp. I think 29 cents was for Bybit, which I prefer to use Bybit volume data, because it's just a better exchange than Bitstamp. Bitstamp's kind of, it's just got more history, so I prefer to use it, but it doesn't have the best volume. So you're looking anywhere from 29 to 19 cents to be if you're looking for the absolute best opportunity on a coin, that's where it's at. But again, you've got levels here that you have to be aware of beforehand. You have to be able to gauge those in, those types of interactions and make a good decision. You can't just say it's going to 29 and 19 cents. I know this for fact, because you don't know that. You know that there is pretty good support in this region. It's just, is it worth buying? You'll have to find out. Or if you just want to DCA in, go for it. Just understand that your average between, 39 cents and 20 or down to 19 cents is going to be, just that. It's going to be an average, which puts you somewhere at like a 30-cent average at that point. So if it comes all the way down here and your average is up here at 30 cents, well, you've got some time to wait. And XRP likes to make people wait once it comes down here. I don't know if you guys have noticed that it will sit down here for a while. So, that's how I view the XRP chart. I don't think that there were too many other ones. I think you wanted me to look at Link, Stinky Linky. Yeah, Link is one of my biggest holdings. I'm a big Link guy. So 930 was a really, really big level for Link. For anyone that was keeping up with me on it, let's pull up our Link USDT chart as well. $9.30. We were hoping to get a pattern like this play out, but what you can see is it did front run our initial targets right here. Okay, so this was a shark pattern. It did front run. You did get a bounce. That bounce was negated fairly quickly, but the bounce was nice. If you traded this bounce, which I traded a lot of these coins, I didn't take all my profits, but I made sure that I locked in enough that I was happy. This is a 60% bounce. That's a nice move into this support right here. But now once you lose 1260, you're now looking down to 930. If you lose 930, what you do have here, I believe, was an order block. Yeah, you've got an order block right down here and a weekly level of support coming in this region, right? Around 750. You lose 930, you're going to 750, and that really is the hopium for this one, because should you lose that 750 level, which this would imply that the whole market's going to hell in a handbasket. I posted this chart on Twitter back here because I had found it. I was like, hey, just so you guys know, I have my old fib time. This fib time called the all-time high. I put this fib time out in 2020. Our golden ratio fib time does come in. We're at none other than the third week of May. So just so you guys know, third week of May, even Link from a fib time in 2020 is saying this is the time. If we're bottoming out and we lose $7.50, Bitcoin does what everybody's saying it's going to do, goes like 20K. I would expect to see Link down here and filling this 2020 in POC right around anywhere from $3.82 to $5. And that's some doomsday targets for you. So I am already starting to begin to take positions on Link at these prices. I'm happy. You guys have to understand, my situation is different than yours. I've been in Link since 2020. I got in on Link because my partner at the time told me to, and was working with him. And I got in here during the COVID crash. I'm like a sub $2 average on this thing. So I haven't been buying Link at all. So for me now, I'm like looking at this with like eyes wide open, saying, man, if I can get Link under $10, I don't even care if it goes down to 3. I will literally DCA all the way into this one, pair it up with my other long-term holds, and rock and roll. So Link is at a really, really key level that needs to be held. This is $9.30. That's a pretty macro area to lose, and you can see why right here. Okay. So you're at these supports. You have to do what's best for you, but make sure that you're actually, protecting your capital a little bit. I don't think I had any other altcoins that you wanted me to look at.
Did you do Crow already?
No, I didn't do Crow. That's right. Yeah, Crow's a good one. This is one that I'm pretty happy with. So put out Crow back in January. We talked about this pattern, yet another shark. Boom. This was the target. Technically it went up to like the 618, but this was the target. And I believe it filled in POC here. But this bi-weekly at 50.95 cents, you can see that we did deviate it just a little bit to the high side. So you got back above the level we need to hang on to right here. You can see that just kind of, it's the floor right here, really. We go down like a 4 hour. You can see what I mean by a deviation real quick here. You have a deviation right here. So you can see how it was respecting it. And then what did you do? Came in, back tested it, come back to support. You buy support again, you get the higher low, right? We come back up to resistance. But what happens when you lose support? Well, now you are straight up free falling. Everybody's talking about the news, but this was something that you guys had to understand. The TA was telling us, even before Crow cut rewards or any of this other news came out, this chart was out in January. And I was like, this is where we're going more than likely if this doesn't recover 50 cents, basically. If this can't recover 50 cents, we're just going to keep hitting into this support, keep playing the support until it's not, guys. But once it's no longer support, we're heading to this box. I have 18.884 cents as a big area for me. For me, Crow is no different than any other. I was making Crow videos back at 7 cents, right, in this region back in 2021, saying that this was a good chart. That video is still on YouTube. So I think it may even, no, that's right, TikTok took it down because they suck. But I was talking about this right here. And so now you've come all the way back and you're going to come right back to it. Right, so you're going to be expecting to be DCing into this one for a little while now, probably. So, and this is just trading the chart for what it is. This is a really big run up. It didn't make all-time highs. There's a lot of people keep saying that. I don't know why people say that. It got nowhere near its all-time high. Its all-time high is right here, and you can see what happened when it made an all-time high. This is pretty bad. I imagine some developers dumped it pretty hard. But yeah, you're coming into this zone here of interest. If you're looking for new positions, buying up here is obviously not an option for long-term holds. It was definitely an option for a trade, though. This was a really nice trade. So now you're looking down, and you can be patient with these things. They're not going to just V-bottom out of here, guys. Like, these are pretty big dumps that these things are taking. So like, once you get a big dump like that, generally it's okay to let the dust settle for a little while. Because even like right here, when it dumped down even lower, right, dumps down super low. I mean, you ended up getting from the 22nd of November all the way over to February 17th. So you got almost 3 months of an opportunity to buy in on a higher low or some strength. Same with right here, so you have the opportunity to buy with a little more confidence if you're just patient. But, I know that's not for everyone. Everyone in this community thinks that DCAing is best, but math says otherwise. It just does. Yeah, that's all I got, man. It's kind of not a lackluster update, but it's just, these are areas we were expecting to see, and we know where we need to get back above if we're interested in any kind of an actual like bounce out of this region. Just kind of trade it for the day trades that it provides. Otherwise, I've just set alerts, and I'm just going to wait for these levels to get hit. If they get hit, I guess I should say. And when they do, just have my plan in place and trade them accordingly. That's all you can really do. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Isaac. Oh, Danny wants Dot. We'll look at Dot. Dot's an easy chart. Dot will be the last one before I turn it over to CVO here, because you guys know I'll talk for days. I will never shut up.
Man, I take the mornings off these days,
Yeah, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Dot. Yeah, so Dot's coming through the $12 region, which was kind of an area that we wanted to see held, right? So needs to recover $12.76. If you don't do that, $9.30 is the next target. Which, if you're a big fan of Dot, which again, Dot, Link, Ethereum, Bitcoin, those are my biggest holdings. Matic is in there. I'm not buying Matic yet, but I've got targets for Matic as well. I think they're about the same as CVOs, so he can cover that one. But yeah, $9.30 for Dot's the next level, unless you can actually start living back above 1276. But in reality, you had this really important support. You had this really important resistance. You could have traded this as a range very easily. And then what happens as soon as we lose the support? Well, we bounce from the EQ of our Q1 regression and over to the level we backtest at 1641. That's a pretty clear SR flip, on a daily time frame. And now you are putting pressure down to go to these other supports. This one being completely untested below the lows. So what you'd want to see is if it comes down, takes these lows right here, right? You want to see it come down, do something like this, and then back test the low like right here, and then up and continue like over time anyway. Otherwise, you're just DCAing at key areas. That's all you can really do is, buy when cheap, buy when cheap. And if you've been patient, which I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, you're going to get some really cheap prices. And even though I say DCA is not the best strategy, because it just isn't, if you DCA strategically and you actually do technical analysis, so you combine those two things where you identify the best places to DCA, that's when it becomes effective. If you're just DCAing this entire move, like, it's kind of stupid, not to be rude by any means. And that's not to call anyone. That's just, it's just not, there's a lot of people in the space that promote that, and it's just not a good idea. It's just, it will create bag holders, and if this is going into a true bear market where people are saying we're not going to get a new all-time high till 2025, you may not be in profit for years. You may just be riding this thing down to God knows what levels, so not an ideal scenario in that case, right? But that's enough of me kind of ranting. I'll turn it over to you, Paul.
No rants, man. That was good. Thank you, sir. All right. So, oh man, something's up with TikTok here. TikTok keeps crashing on me today. It's the whales, man. They don't want us getting out. Just kidding. All right. Got a little rough throat from all the partying this weekend with Magic. I'm just looking at Bitcoin here for a second here, seeing if we're getting any kind of moves. Pretty surprising that we haven't gotten anything drastic. Not drastic, but really nothing over the last hour and a half. It's pretty much just sat still. But we'll continue on with the some other altcoins here. So, we had a members only market update last night, which was really nice, about 2 hours long. And we really went into detail on Bitcoin, on some of the alts we just covered here, and then a slew more. I'm going to cover a couple of them here again today. And the biggest thing is to keep in context the relationship of Bitcoin, obviously, to the market. And one thing is that the altcoins obviously have exponential upside compared, but they also have exponential downside compared, right? So during this fall so far, even if we get this, this low area we're looking for, which is not, to be married to that this is the exact bottom, but this is more likely to get at least a decent little bounce here, at least in my opinion, in the short term. It's about 35% pullback for Bitcoin, right? When already there's altcoins, in the 50-60% pullback zone. So that's something to be said. And looking at things like XRP just a second ago, Cardano is one I'm going to take a look at here in a second. They obviously have room to move another 50% down from where they are now. So not that has to happen. It's just something that, you have to understand. And that is the game we play. However, with these opportunities come exactly that, the opportunities, because everybody that's not in the space right now, everybody's panic selling and, walking away, they're not going to come back until we're probably back towards all-time highs or back towards 50K. And if you have been in the space for any amount of time, you know that even a 10% bounce out of Bitcoin, say we get down to 31 and we get a 10% bounce out of Bitcoin, $3,000, right? That alone sparks these altcoins back up 30, 40, 50% at times. So something to be aware of, right? So taking a look here. Take a look at Cardano actually first. Cardano, really, we were looking, you really wanted it to hold this 72-cent area. And everything I'm on right now is on a daily time frame. It's just an easier way to look at the candles. So you just have 1 day. Each candle is 1 day, obviously. This 3-month level right here is 72 cents, give or take. Was pretty important to see held. And we've so far lost it, and we haven't closed on it quite yet on the daily. That'll be later on today. If you do that, this is very possible that we could be heading down. There's really nothing else below us until this weekly and monthly level. And that's a pretty steep fall. As you can see over here, right? We're essentially right here. There's nothing really in between us of substantial support. Maybe you can consider 47 cents. But this is something that, to save this, you'd want to really see this 3-month at least reclaim. So back up again above this 72-cent level. This really would imply that Bitcoin would have to have a nice little turnaround here in the short term, things of that nature. But at the moment, this was definitely, an area where a stop loss could have put in place. And otherwise, we're heading down towards this level right here, about 40 cents, even down to 35. So XRP is in the same boat, right? We kind of just went over that a second ago. And, not to be like confused with this has to happen, right? Because we are down substantially and everything does correlate with Bitcoin. So this is the thing. It's the time now where it's a little too late to be making rash decisions, right? Granted, we have an opportunity that this could fall a little bit more. So it's definitely up to you and your strategy. But this is where everybody gets super confused in the sense of being like, okay, you can't necessarily be going all out of the market right here, in fear that we're going to drop another 40%. However, that is probable, right? So it's something that, whether it's something you want to, have money on the side for, if you do want to cut some loss here, put it on the side. But then you also have to realize what the invalidation of this would be to reclaim the 72-cent level to the upside and then essentially regaining this range. The major time to be making your decisions for de-risking was up here, obviously at the range high. I know nobody wants to hear that now. And even really at this range low, right? Losing this range low once again on the daily time frame. While this doesn't seem like it was that far away, this was 18% ago. So that was definitely the areas to be de-risking, because now the lower we go, you run the risk of us turning around, right? So this is why making those plans need to have, really need to happen when we're coming into these major resistances or when we're coming into these major supports. Because right now you're going to be, you're going to be staring down a tough decision, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So don't want to be, on the line with saying like, yeah, definitely we're heading down to this 38 cents, sell everything here, buy back here. Obviously, we can't tell you what to do either way. It's not financial advice. It's all up to you. But this if you wake up in a week and a half and we're at 39 cent Cardano, this is why, right? We've lost major support. This took 3 months to establish, right? The 72 cent area. And we lost it. So if we start closing below here, come back up, hit our head, likely that we're going to see some lower stuff here. So just do be aware of that. All on the flip side, right? So not to be all doom and gloom, you come back up, we close, pull off one of these little, godly green candles, close back above, and then continue higher, then that's your invalidation, right, of that idea that we're going lower. So just literally a few levels to be looking for. This is, I guess I didn't have it on the screen. This is Cardano, for anybody asking. Usually I have the ticker on there. Cardano. I'm going to take a look at Luna. Let's see. All right. So Luna had rotated the range in full for this first quarter here. We had our April range as well, broke into new all-time highs, a couple fib extensions up here. 1618 came in perfectly, got the rejection, re-entered the range, back tested the range, and at this point we're rotating the range in full, right? So once again, your de-risk area would have been up here at the range high, right? This is where you don't want to be considering cutting losses at lows, right? I mean, yes, if you're that's the thing. It's like I said, it's these times right now is a hard time to be positioned with that, because the problem is that if you do that, you do, like for Luna specifically. I mean, this is in my opinion, I think we're really going to see this range low. If anything, this point of control, it's only 14% from here and 20% respectfully. So in this regard, a simple invalidation as well, reclaim this yearly key level, and then we're heading back probably to the range high. But more than likely, we're heading down to this point of control. This is our natural target. We re-entered this range, back tested it, bearishly closed daily candles within. We're on the journey back to the point of control. The fact that it's right next to the range low puts that really, really probable that we're going to tag that. And all that would line up with Bitcoin kind of dropping it to our lower levels as well. So this one is probably a little bit of I wouldn't say a safer play in the sense of like just cutting all your, cutting your whole bag and then looking to buy lower. But do realize that this is one that is, in my opinion, probable to come down in this range low at this point, rotated in full. So take that for what it's worth. And once again, at this point, sometimes it's just mentally prepare yourself, right? So that you don't end up, if you are going to hold this through, that you're not selling at $48. Until we get to this level, we reevaluate. If you start losing this range low, obviously you've got some other levels to look for. But it's once again, like the de-risking area came and went. Realistically, the next de-risk zone is the range low, because if you start closing below that, very similar to Cardano, right, how it just kind of fell out, then at that point you may want to de-risk a little bit more. But it is, we are in position as well where Bitcoin may see a bounce here in the next few days. So getting some of these, relief rallies could be a possibility short term here, and could even turn into a reversal. Who knows? But just for the time being, Luna, I'd be looking forward to come down to this $47. Mana is a really fun chart to me, because this one we built out in February, which we were right here, and this was at $3.50, and we've had this big buy zone if met put on here, and at the time this was 70% from where we were, right? 65%, 75 to the bottom. Our October NPOC comes in about 77%. Obviously, it's really hard to imagine that we would, come down to these levels, but this is where we are. So once again, this is more, this is more so of a longer term hold, like, dip your toes in the water. If you're looking at DCA, this would be an area I would consider, right? Because even if looking back, I mean, you see that this is pretty much where the price action had remained for quite some time. This is not a very old coin, however. It's only been around, at least on, it's on Coinbase, I guess. So I'm sure it's got more price action somewhere. But I mean, from this 129 down to this October NPOC would be an area to consider getting involved, right? As far as back to the upside, just move the buy zones wherever you want. No, just kidding. We want to see this range low reclaimed, and then we'll start heading up from there. But to me, it's the doom and gloom scenarios across the board. You kind of have to at least not let them, overtake you emotionally, because anytime we get to these regions, where, yeah, maybe there's another 20% drawdown. Maybe there's that, a little bit more to the downside. But it's like looking at like even Chainlink when Magic was looking at it a moment ago. It's a $7, $9, $6. When these things return to these, even like Magic said, a midway point, $25, $26. Is it going to matter to you that you bought it at $7 or $9? Are you going to remember it? Yes, you could have had more, all these things and that, but it's definitely depends on how much risk you're able to put on at some of these levels, because a lot of people have left this market. A lot of people have left the space. Not many eyes are even on these positions right now at all. And if they are, they're expecting Bitcoin to go to 20K. So they're definitely just waiting. So once again, just, kind of have to position yourself to some degree. Near looks pretty much like Luna, right? Had a nice little run at a near 166% in the end of March there, rotated the range in full. Up here, we had our April range, which was beautiful. This offered up, it was only about a 10% window. It was 12%, 13. But this offered up like several trades and over days, right? This didn't even have to be all day trades. This was a really nice opportunity right here. And that last short right here, had you held it down, we re-entered the range over here. So what are we going to do? We're going to hit that point of control. Ultimately, we're going to rotate this range in full more than likely. And if Bitcoin does drop it down to that $31,000 level, we're probably going to see some of these lows over here for near once again. Maybe a little double bottom action, right? So possible down to this $7 area. Near, to me, I think is something that's got a, just in general. I mean, there's so many projects that I will recover when the market recovers, obviously. So it is a time to, be positioning yourself well. VeChain. So VeChain and this is the thing too, right? Like VeChain, Cardano, XRP, all three of them are on some thin ice here, right? I actually don't think this is a big, a major move to the downside like the other two. I mean, it's pretty decent, but at this point, we're losing this range low here. You got this wick low coming in about 4 cents, pretty much on the T. But aside from that, this daily level below us is about 15-20%. And that all aligns up once again, kind of correlating everything to Bitcoin's movements here, because I didn't do ETH yet, but we'll do ETH here in a second. Once again, don't get married to the idea that this is just going to be the area we come down to 100% and, just straight reverse from. I do anticipate a bounce at least from this $31,000 area. This would be that perfect crime, right? That scenario where we've already actually taken this low. So far, essentially anybody that's been, within this market in the last 5 months, if anybody's had their stop losses in place or bought anything around these levels, obviously the altcoins have gotten completely destroyed or completely back to the same levels as they were. Bitcoin is now lower than that too, right? So people are probably starting to, sell their positions, looking at buyback lower, all the things, when in reality, this could very well be a place where nobody's looking for these two areas right here. I can tell you right now, I haven't heard anybody talking about 31,200 besides Magic Internet Money. And then you got this up here, this 32.2, but this 31.2 is interesting, right? And what it would do is it would not take the summer lows from last year, because I know everybody's looking there. And then from here, this would be a lower low. Everybody would be looking at this like the market structure is completely busted. Definitely going to 20K. It sets up a really good recipe for, for the max pain, I guess you could call it, or mass fear in the market. And then for that to actually be an area where we at least bounce. I'm not saying full reversal, but could get a nice little pullback, even back up towards this, 35, 36K. But we'll get there when we get there. What I was bringing up was the idea that VeChain dropping another 15% is possible with another 5-6% move out of Bitcoin, right? Because pretty much everything doubles for the altcoins. And right now, with us losing this low, people are probably really heavily selling those bags, thinking that we're going to head lower for BTC. The confidence in the market, right, is at a low as everybody's anticipating Bitcoin to just kind of melt. Ethereum, that's the one. So ETH has been the number one driver to me, why I did anticipate seeing Bitcoin coming down at least to this weekly NPOC. because that correlated with ETH rotating this range in full. So unlike a lot of the other coins, I know for the last few weeks, some of them had already hit their macro range lows. Ethereum, however, did not. Ethereum was actually just re-entering its range, catching a rejection at the range high. And at that point, the probability of this is to run it back to the point of control at least, and then to rotate the range in full. So we have now rotated this range in full for Ethereum, which this percentage drop aligned well with pretty much the region we're in now for Bitcoin, give or take $600. We do have some wicks to the bottom over here, right? Some wick lows. And without actually taking that all the way down, you could come even down to this 6-month area right here, this 2263, and not take any. Well, we take one, I guess. But regardless, coming down, deviating a little bit, wouldn't be out of the question, especially since we're already at these lows, and Bitcoin has not reached that 31. And if it does, I would imagine ETH is still going to pull a little bit to the downside here, but in my opinion, like I said, we're getting close to big bounce territory regardless. So whether or not these things, bounce up and then short term continue lower, there's still opportunity at play. And anybody that's looking to de-risk or anything like that, I would be looking for something like that before considering anything else, right? And that would mean maybe a bounce back up to this $2,600 region out of ETH, kind of gauge the market around there, see how Bitcoin's reacting at the time, and then kind of, decide on your strategy at that point. But from here, we do have this 6-month and we got these 2 weeklies, but we have fully rotated now to the range low perfectly, as you can see, hitting it just a minute ago. So for upside, right, if this ends up holding and we turn this bad boy around, because you are at major support. So once again, not to emotions aside, you have to be willing to believe that this could just turn around, and it's really that simple, right? We may get a little wick down to these 6-month and weekly levels, which is probably another 10% move here, but very possible to see this turn around. We are at major support, right? Just as we saw over here. I'll remind you what these 2 time frames were. I don't even know what's in the news right now today. I don't know what the news catalyst is, if there is one. This one though, there was an invasion going on. This one was a Fed meeting, right? Like it's just just to show you that, like, the news and everything around us, doesn't. I know right now everybody is correlating everything to the stock market, so that's what it is. It's just the stock market's crashing, so everything's crashing is everybody's correlation. But at the end of the day, what did we do here? We re-entered this range, back tested the range high, we rotated to the range low. Like that's, I haven't looked at the stock market in weeks, so this is what we've been looking at. This is what we've been looking for. Whether or not there's an invasion afoot, this is the TA. So 6-month level just below, right, for a slight deviation. Do be prepared for that. And at the end of the day, we're paying heavy attention to BTC. You got to be willing to, consider some risk depending on your strategy, because the last thing you want to do is, granted, Magic did paint the picture, right? We do have room to go lower. One of the biggest scenarios at foot, I think, is that, like Magic said, a popular target is 28K. So in my opinion, and that is exactly what is an opinion, take it for what it's worth, throw it out the window. It's either we're going to front run this sucker, right? Hit something like this 31 that nobody's paying attention to, front run all the other lows. Okay. Or you're going to absolutely melt through this and cut into some of those levels that Magic was talking about, talking about the $24,000 gap fill, things of that nature. It's going to be one of those 2 scenarios, in my opinion, because 28 is just too welcomed at this point across the board. And 28K is like literally how this, when we were dancing around 30K, 29K last year, when everybody was really looking at 20, it's like that. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that would be the likely area in my opinion. So regardless, looking for a bounce either way, even if we do bounce here and then continue lower. We do have some pretty big levels coming in, and we are at macro support now for ETH, which inherently, like, transpires into the other altcoins, and that's pretty much where we're at, right? So, hey guys, how we doing? Yeah, I mean everything. And he said near bounces really well when Bitcoin goes up. If Bitcoin comes out of this move, to the upside, even 8-10%, the altcoins are going to bounce. I haven't looked at the RSI in a minute. This was the other thing I wanted to point out too, is that one thing we looked for over here, right, going back to last summer, is something we haven't had yet, right? So I know that everybody's looking for the big capitulation event, where it's just a huge candle down and, everybody sells out of the market and, we're down at 20K and then we turn around. Well, one thing that you want to look for around some of these macro, possible reversals, and this is a really good example. This is last summer, right? This is the July lows, is that you want to see some bullish divergence appearing on, the daily time frame, essentially. And as you can see, that's what we had here, as we were making new lows, right, coming down here, and you had your higher lows coming in on the daily time frame on the RSI. So you had a daily time frame bullish divergence right there. Up until even, this 48, that we did not have that. We still really don't. The thing is that if we come down to this 31K level right now, we will 100%. And if we get a bounce from there, right, that's the thing. It's got to be confirmed with a low put in right here. We will be putting in, right, this bullish divergence on the daily time frame. So that's something to consider, right? So as we come down, we're going to start putting down. You could look at this as wicks or however you want to look at it, but we'll start putting that in. So it's something to keep in mind. Not that that's the one and only thing that you should be riding on, but if you want a little hopium, that's something that is very apparent in my opinion. So, all right. Yeah, so we've been on here for an hour now. So for 130 people in here in TikTok, if you'd like to watch it back, we covered XRP, we covered Link, we covered Luna, we covered Near, Mana, a ton of altcoins, realistically. And Magic did a deep dive into Bitcoin at the beginning there. I'm just going over a very simple, vague. This is literally what I'm correlating right now with my altcoin positions at the moment, looking for these levels to come into play. So, but we do have other, things afoot, and we know what to look for. And once again, we pair this with order flow and open interest, which we don't cover really on here, but we will probably start doing a little bit more of that as we go. But that's definitely the game changer there. So if anybody wants to pay attention or view back anything that we went over already, feel free to watch the YouTube video. It is live at the second, and then it'll be posted there. You can rewind all the good stuff, and you see the quality better there. For anybody that's interested in joining Magic Internet Money and myself, we run the leading crypto Discord server. The information to join this is in our descriptions on TikTok and on YouTube. Last night we went over probably the best, hands down, I think it was the best update you could get at a time like this. And we put it in our live recording section. So this is for our members only. It was about 2 hours long. We went full on into pretty much the majority of altcoins we're looking at, Bitcoin scenario as well. Took some questions, went over order flow and open interest. But here you'll have access to all my altcoin updates, all of Magic's Bitcoin analysis and altcoins as well. We both have we put the member market update every Wednesday and Sunday night. Got an academy. And we have a slew of other channels here.
I'm going to interrupt you. You set up as an unlisted video when you went live today, just so you know. That's why it doesn't show up for people.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it's not public. You we gotta flip it over afterwards so that it can be posted, so that if anybody wants to watch it back in the beginning to see some of that stuff and the end of the thing here, they can. So not a big deal.
Okay. Well, yeah, give it 10 minutes and I'll have that YouTube video up there for everybody. All right. Well, we'll take a look at Theta for somebody. I just saw Theta come across the screen. All righty. So Theta. Same deal as a couple of these other large caps, right? Theta was one that ran really hard too. And that's the thing. The coins that ran the most are obviously getting pulled back the most, right? Solana, you got VeChain. Even Chain. A lot of these things, Theta did like a 30 or 40x or something like that, 50x, whatever it was. Regardless, lost the range low, came back tested, and so far it's on its way down. You could probably say that within this region, there's some support here. I just don't have it marked. So where we are right now could be an area of interest. Otherwise, this monthly level down here, which is a huge drop. So wouldn't necessarily just put all my eggs in that basket. That'd be 60%. Really, we'd have to see Bitcoin really melting to see that go down. So I would imagine that we're probably going to see, we got a couple daily levels in here that are probably going to prop us up where we are now between, basically 180 and maybe even down here towards, it's not much here. So, it's, 175 ish. So I have to really see, once again, correlate that with Bitcoin's movements as well. All right. As far as upside, right, you want to see this range reclaimed here of about 250, right? So for that, we'd be heading higher after that. ADA, we did do earlier. Like I said, this is recording on YouTube. I'm going to post this right after the video here. And we'll take a look at Quant real quick. All right. So this 6-month level right here for Quant, the one we've been talking about for quite a while, about 60, I think I just moved it. Yep. Okay. $68. Obviously we lost, the range low. Once again, that was your de-risking area here. Had the back test right there. So this $92. From here, we got a weekly, but the 6-month level right here is the most interesting to me. As you can see over here, this is where we held the majority of support. Losing that, obviously, we dropped down to about $40. But this $68 region would be pretty much in line, too, with Bitcoin coming down to that 31K region. Check out SafeMoon. Does SafeMoon even have a chart? All right. That will probably do it for us. Sorry that I had the YouTube video on unlisted. Does make a lot of sense, I suppose. So tomorrow, for the rest of this week and probably going forward, Magic Internet Money and myself will be coming on here around 9:30 a.m. for the New York Open every day. We'll be covering Bitcoin and a couple other altcoins. So
just call it the New York session because the New York Open's at 7 a.m. Yeah, New York session.
New York sesh.
I'm a stickler for the details.
You sure are.
Well, if we say New York Open, that's the only thing they're going to hear, and they'll be here. They'll expect the New York Open. So,
well, we'll be here at 7 then.
All right, game on 7 a.m. if we want the Open.
Be sure to join the Discord if anybody's interested. Otherwise, we'll see you all back here again. YouTube will be uploaded here in a few minutes. So, hope you all enjoyed the update. Have a great day, everybody. Till next time. Cheers.